Hi everyone, thanks for coming back to another video. Appreciate y'all coming back. I wanted to share something that I kind of tripped across a couple of months ago, and I really thought it was very creative and colorful. This is just a little piece of artistry that I found very interesting. It looks like the person that did this used old newspapers and some old scraps of paper, maybe some paint and some stamps or whatever she may have had in the house, and I just found it to be very interesting. And even though it is the artist's own opinion that I'm going to read to you, I did find it very thought-provoking, and so I wanted to share that with you today. And this particular piece says, I guess my mind has always known that some of the stuff that I've been told and taught throughout my childhood wasn't true. But it took my soul until now to be enough insulted by it to truly dismiss it. She goes on to say, re-examine all that you have been told and dismiss what insults your soul. So again, even though this is the artist's opinion, it really was thought-provoking to me, because I think we've all been misled by some untruths, and we've been told something was absolute when it really wasn't absolute. And so I just wanted to bring that forward to you, something that I found interesting as well. So welcome back, everyone. Thank you for coming back to another video. I know that this one is pretty quick on the heels of the last one, but that's because the Lord has been urging me and prompting me and moving me along ever since I posted that other video, because there is so much more that needs to be shared. So we're going to call this one the follow-up of that 90-day video, and I don't know how long this video is going to be, but I don't want to break it up. I want to keep it all together. If the Lord wants me to do an additional video in regards to the 90-day, then I most definitely will. But I'm hoping that we can get through some of let's just say all the information that I am physically aware of at this time to get to you today. So God bless you. Thank you for coming back to another video. I know our last video on the 90 days was projecting a particular time period. And guys, I had not pulled up the date to see what the 90 days would be. I knew it would be sometime in January. I had no idea. But just as sure as when I got that last video posted, I had urgings to take a look at it. I felt like a pulling to take a look at it. And I kept saying, no, Lord, I don't want to look at it, because I just want to be ready and prepared to go. I kind of know the time period and what have you. So that night I woke up in the middle of the night and again felt the very strong urging, and I knew, okay, I've got to do it. I've got to look it up. And so I did. And so that led from one thing to another, just as any other study would do. The Lord has taken me on a long path and showed me so many different things. A lot of the videos that we have done in the past is all pointing to it. It's all giving us clues. It is coming around to where specific days are very, very important and very prominent. I can't give anyone a specific date, and I'll tell you why. Because when Jewish months are set up to identify when the start of the month is, it's dependent on a specific event happening. And sometimes that specific event doesn't happen on the day that it's expected. So you really never know when something is going to happen. I tried to sit down and go ahead and present a couple of calendars to you all, one for December and one for January. But when I realized that, things were in flux and we really couldn't guarantee when something was going to happen, they could project it, but it didn't necessarily, if it could not necessarily happen on that particular day. Case in point, a new moon in 2017, and I'm going to talk to you all about that, because we recorded it and we identified that there was an issue with it. And so when I recalled that information, I just scrapped the calendars because I was getting myself frustrated. And I was just like, I don't want to confuse anybody. So what I was trying to do was set up Gregorian that had also to the dates of the Jewish or Hebrew calendars, and then to identify the things that he was now showing me was important and markers. Okay. So all of these things have been shared in past videos, but I am going to bring those videos back to your attention. I'm going to provide links. I'm going to provide, we'll try and walk through all of the different things that I did and how I found things online, and start talking to you about a few things. Now, I did go through and list out exactly what happened from point A to point B in order that it happened, so that you can understand how the Lord was trying to guide me through and have me understand a few things. So get something to drink. Your drink of choice. I have water over here. I have a cough drop in my mouth. I apologize for that, but my voice is cracking in and out today. And I want to be clear. I want everyone to understand exactly what the Lord said to me and how we went through to find this information. Grab a pen, a pad, open your computer if you want to take notes. Grab a calendar if you want. Otherwise, get somewhere quiet, because this is pretty significant information and it's important. Okay? All right. So guys, again, thank you for coming back to another video. I'm going to try to get through this as comprehensive as I possibly can, but there's a lot of information here. So let's get started. Okay? Let me go ahead and turn this around, because I definitely want to show you, first off, that I had started taking notes. Now, from the time that I posted that 90-day video, the very next day, I'm jotting something down, okay? So I posted the 90-day video, and I had several people actually let me know that the confirmation of the little girl in the 100 days was found. That particular video was found. I do want to show you that video because I want you to see what I was telling you was accurate. It does look like the mother may have changed her channel name, or maybe some others have shared her video. I just want to say a huge thank you to all of the people that let me know that. I just put X's there because I know that there was more than one. There were several people that came onto the channel comments and let me know where I could find it. And I just want to say thank you all so much. So let's go ahead and take a look at that first, because it's not very long and it is a confirmation for this 90 days. So let me see if I can find that first. Okay, so here's the little girl. This was the video that I pulled up, and I was still looking to see when all of that happened, but take a look at this. This commenter here said February 15th is 100 days from this video, and she put in here, this happened on 10/24. So keep that in mind. She said 100 days on 10/24. Okay? We're going to take a look to see exactly where that falls, because that's going to be interesting. But there's going to be some other things that I want you to understand as well. So let's just go ahead and listen to this right quick.
Would you tell me again what you told me this morning? What? About the holidays.
About 100 days.
Yes, tell me about the 100 days. Right now.
So in 100 days, we're going to die in heaven and meet Jesus and God, and like we're going to, and when everyone's in heaven, no one's gonna be on
Uh-oh, what happened? Hang on, guys. So guys, I just want to show you, you see these items here, that means TikTok is down or TikTok is something's going on. I find it very interesting because I really feel like the enemy does not want anybody to see this video. I really do. It is, it has been difficult to be able to find, and now just trying to share it. We never had any issue with it before, so I'm going to keep working on it and come back to you as soon as it's done. Okay, so let's go ahead and try this. Here we go.
Would you tell me again what you told me this morning? About the holidays.
About 100 days.
Yes, tell me about the 100 days. Right now.
So in 100 days we're going to die and heaven and meet Jesus and God, and like we're going to, and when everyone's in heaven, no one's gonna be on earth.
And you said this was in 100 days?
This is in 100 days.
Not 100 years?
Not 100 years.
Okay. When did you hear, where did you hear this?
Milk brain.
Milk brain?
Not the milk from a book, and like brain, because God told my brain, and then he told me, and then I told the book.
Well, what you told me this morning was you were reading Milk, which is what's that book about? Cows and dairy, right?
Oh, sure.
Okay, let me see the book. So you're reading this book.
Milk.
Okay.
And then I just want to hear, then I'm reading milk.
Let me see the page. So it just says milk.
No, it doesn't. And Nick had some milk in a jug. And then right here were some words.
There was words there?
Yeah.
And what did the words say?
It says, in 100 days we're going up in heaven with God and Jesus.
And so our only holidays left is Halloween and Christmas is what you said this morning?
Yeah, but I was just thinking, no, it's 3 more things. Because we went to trunk or treat, now there's Halloween, Christmas, Easter Bunny.
But Easter's more than 100 days.
Oh. And Christmas, so it's Christmas.
Christmas is in a couple months. We have Halloween, Thanksgiving,
And then
Christmas, then Easter.
But we won't be Easter.
We won't be here for Easter.
More. Yeah, because then we'll be up in heaven by the time it would be Easter.
Well, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Would you tell me again?
Okay, guys, so sweet girl, we're going to be up in heaven with Jesus and God. 100 days, and 100 days from, according to the person that was posting that video, that it happened on October 24th. Now, I got my message on October 29th. I got it the night of the 29th. So I found that to be really interesting. We will talk about the timing and see how that all plays out. But I wanted to say again, thank you to all of the people that pointed me to this particular video, because I wanted to make sure you all saw the things that I had seen and knew immediately that it was confirmation of the message that the Lord gave me, or the dream that He gave me. So let me go back to, and let me turn this around and go back to my document, because I want to be able to continue talking to you all about how this all flowed out. So during the evening of the day that I posted that 90-day video, I had a really hard push to count the days out. And I remember I had told you all that I had not done it yet, and I really wasn't going to do it. But I still didn't do it, even at the first urging. But the thought came back to me while awake in the middle of the night. And I woke up the next morning and indeed did utilize a date calculator and found that the 90-day mark was January 27, 2023. So I just want to show you what I utilized, because it was just a date calculator. And I put in 10/29/2022, and I put 90 days. And that came to January 27th, 2023. But let's go ahead and put in the 24th and add 100 days and see exactly what this may be. Let's calculate it. February 1st. So it does look like that there's a time period at the end of the month of January coming into February 1st that we are looking at as a possible high watch. Now, I say possible high watch, and people are going to say, well, don't you believe what God told you? Absolutely, I believe what He told me. But I can tell you this. When I present you the other information that He has shown me, then you know that He can utilize any of these days within the time period that He has presented. It doesn't have to be 90 days complete and then He does something. He can do it within those 90 days if He so desires to do so. He is one about holidays, feast days, meaning of days, numbers, the whole nine. He looks at everything, and when it comes to be, it's going to come to be in a perfect way. And when people start to do research on it, they're going to say, oh my gosh, why didn't we see that before? He'll use the constellations and what they represent and where they are at the time and the whole nine, because He is using these as calendars and markers. So let's get started with the rest of it. So we're not going to be pinpointing a specific date. We are going to be pinpointing high watch areas, times that we need to be ready, days really that we need to prepare and make sure that we are ready within ourselves, within our hearts, within our walk with Him. And so that's my concern. My concern is to make sure you all are ready, and that you feel you are ready, and that you have taken the steps that you need to do within your mind and heart that makes you understand, okay, yes, I'm as ready as I can possibly be at this particular point in time. That's where my heart lies. I know the children are going to be taken, and they're going to go to these places of safety. There won't be judgment for them. There won't be anything there for them, okay? But now for the adults that are going to be called and those that are going to be taken up and those other things, you need to be ready. And I'm not talking about ready in your home and ready in this or ready in that. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about you, who the real you is, the inner you, your heart, your mind. Are you ready? That's my concern. I want to make sure that I take the steps to do what I need to do to be ready, but I also want to make sure that you all understand this is what we're looking at, this is what we're being provided, and I want you to make sure that you take time for yourself to make sure that you are ready. Okay? All right. So let me go ahead and go back to this document, and I apologize. We're going to be going back and forth, because I want you to see what it is and how he pulled me along, okay? Let me pull this back up. All right. So after I pulled it up and I identified that the date was January 27th, 2023, I was then led to equate that date with the Hebrew or Jewish calendar. And I thought, maybe I better look to see if it aligns with a feast day or something. So when I pulled up what Gregorian 27/2023 equated to, it was 5 Shavat, 5783 year, which is a Friday. But now I have to say, guys, you understand that you don't know if that's actually 5 Shavat, because that gets counted from the new moon and the sighting of the new moon. And in order for that to occur, somebody has to sight it. There has to be 2 witnesses to sight the new moon, and so that can be off by a day or 2 at times. So we don't really know if that's 5 Shavat, but we know it's in the area. So we're just going to take that as an assumption and just kind of start building off of that. Okay. So January 27, that was the end of our 90 days. This particular day right here was that 90-day end counting of the end of the day. And it is also the month of Shavat. We know that, we don't know exactly what day in Shavat, but we know that it is the month of Shavat. Okay? All right. So I didn't see any feast days associated with that day or any special recognitions, but I did see Rosh Chodesh Shavat on Monday, January the 23rd. So this day right here. And I recall doing studies on several years ago that went into what this one meant, and I couldn't remember exactly what it meant. So I went back to remind myself. And when I clicked on Rosh Chodesh Shavat on the Jewish calendar, this is what I found. This is what I found. It is the start of the month of Shavat on the Hebrew calendar. Rosh Chodesh Shavat for Hebrew year 5783 will begin at sundown on Sunday and ends at nightfall on Monday. So it is the start of the 11th month of the Hebrew calendar, and Rosh Chodesh, or it's also called Rosh Chodesh, is a minor holiday that occurs at the beginning of every month in the Hebrew calendar. It is marked by the birth of a new moon. Okay. So now let me talk to you all about that, because Rosh Chodesh is marked by the birth of a new moon. The month starts by counting it from the first sighting of the new moon. The beginning of the Jewish year starts by identifying and having the witness for seeing the new moon. So it's very important in regards to the calendar, the new moon. Now the Lord has given us a ton of stuff in regards to the new moon. But I want to talk to you all about some other things that I found, because we are going to go into that study about the new moon and exactly what it means. And I think you guys' mind's going to be blown. I'm telling you, mine was. So anyway, so let me go ahead and turn this around and we're going to go back to it. All right, so let's look at this. So if the 22nd into the 23rd is Rosh Chodesh, and this is what counts the start of the month, from the new moon is right in here to in here. Because now remember, guys, the folks in Israel, they start their day at sunset. That's when they end their day and start their day, right? So you have you have sunset is the end of the day, and then nightfall is the beginning of the next day, or vice versa, however it comes to be. But it is all right at that particular time. So their day changes during that time versus us here in the United States, where our date changes, after midnight. Okay, and so keep that in mind, because part of one day and part of another day is a particular day, you see. And so then this would be the next day, and then up here would be the next day, because half of that day falls into the following day. And so I know it's a little confusing, but just kind of keep in mind and equate that sunset is equatable to our midnight, okay, because that switches us over to a new day. Let's see. So we're talking about Shavuot, which is January, part of January. So the high point for Shavuot, now guys, get this, is to be Shabbat. It's Shabbat, not Shavuot. So the high point for Shabbat is to be Shabbat. And guess what that means? It means the new year for trees. It is celebrated on the 15th of Shabbat. It is a day when the sap begins to rise in the trees in Israel, the start of a new growing season. We mark the day by eating fruit, particularly the 7 kinds of which Israel is blessed: wheat, barley, grapes, figs, pomegranates, olives, and dates. And on this date, we remember that man is a tree of the field. Now, guys, I just want to say, do you remember all the videos about New Year's, the songs that he gave us? Do you remember the songs about Christmas and being on Christmas Island, and going to the island for Christmas or whatever? I mean, all of those, but also all of the videos that we had about trees and lights within the trees. How about there was a tree full of lights? There was a tree with pine cones and pineapples on it. There was a tree with an unlit candle. There were times that people were giving me, bundles of Christmas lights to put on a tree. How about the scripture where the guy got, the blind guy sitting at the gate got healed, and when the disciples asked them, "What do you see?" he says, "I see men walking around as trees." God has called me a tree. He gave me a specific tree name. He did also for Pearl Kalare. She also has a specific tree name that she was told by the Lord. So we are the trees, which I thought was interesting. But interesting that this particular holiday is the new year for trees, okay, and that the sap started coming up within the trees. So now in our video before the 90 days, we're talking about that center column. We're talking about all of those having to mature at the same time to allow the power in. So I thought there was a lot of symbolism here in regards to this information that was being shared. And I felt it very, very interesting, and I wanted to definitely make sure that you had that information as well. So now I do recall doing the study in regards to what the Lord reminded me of the new moon warning. And I don't know if you guys ever saw that. I actually had forgotten all about it, and I went directly to pull it up, and I started viewing it again. So I do have the link for you. I will provide that for you, but I wanted to just to show you basically what that video was talking about. Let's see. Did I lose my video? Looks like I lost my video. Hang on one second. Let me find it. The new moon is a warning. So let me see where that said I needed to go
What if you could
to.
generate a new income stream just by simply loading up some mini ebooks online onto Amazon and selling?
So guys, I wanted to share something with you that was given to me at night. Not last night, but the night before. When I awoke in the middle of the night, I heard the new moon is a warning. Okay, let me say that again. The new moon is a warning. And so as soon as I heard it, I knew I had heard it before, and I recognized that I had heard it the night before. But when I woke up that morning from hearing it personally, I didn't remember it. I had no recollection of it whatsoever.
Okay, guys, so take a look at this date. This was September 2018, September 22nd, 2018. And the information that was given to us was the new moon is a warning. That was the message. The new moon is a warning. And so, so then we started talking about, which new moon? There's a new moon every month. And is it a new moon or a full moon? And then there was some discussion back and forth. I always understood it was what they considered to be the new moon, which is where it's black completely and then the sliver of it just starts. And so I thought that was very interesting. The new moon is a warning. So every time a month comes, there's a new moon in every month. And so which month is he talking about as a warning? Well, we've just been given 90 days, and a child just received 100 days. And so now we know we're down to a limited amount of time as to when those new moons might be in there. So we're going to take a look at some of those as well, because that's going to be very important. Let me come back and just show you, because I did get I did pull up the definition of warning. And I want you to see this. This says, it's got several different definitions, but there's one that I feel led to talk about. I feel that this is the one that he is talking to us about. One was a statement or event that indicates a possible or impending danger, problem, or other unpleasant situation. I think when it first came out, that particular warning, the new moon is a warning, that it was kind of taken as a impending something, something negative in some way. The next definition, cautionary advice. The next definition, advance notice of something, which is the one that I really feel like he was trying to let us know. The new moon is a warning. It is an advance notice of something coming. It's a forewarning, an alert, a hint, or some type of notice. And that is the one that I am leaning toward when I looked up this particular definition. It is something that is giving us advance notice of something. So that's important, because now new moons are every month. We now have a limited time frame that we need to look at our new moons. And we know that it is going to give us advance notice of something. So Rosh Chodesh is the day after the new moon at 1800 Jerusalem time. And the times of astronomically determined new moons can be calculated today accurately to 10,000 years before or after now. But that does not say, or does it even include, that there is an issue sometimes with the sighting of the new moon. And so it has to be sighted. That is what has been identified by the Jewish people to us. And so despite of the existence of the fixed calendar, Rosh Chodesh is still announced in the synagogues on the preceding Shabbat. So for those of you that don't know what a Shabbat is a Hebrew word that means rest or cessation, and Sabbath, also called Shabbos, is Judaism's day of rest on the seventh day of the week, which happens to be Saturday. And it begins in the evening of what is on the Gregorian calendar as Friday, because that's when their next day starts. Remember, we kind of discussed that a little bit. So it's their Sabbath. It's their day that they rest and they do their studies and they honor God. Okay, so Saturdays. So if we're taking a look at this being the 90-day, then this day is a Shabbat because it's falling on a Saturday. These are all their Sabbath days right here. And some people might say, well, if it does happen after the 90 days and it but it won't happen on the Sabbath. Well, you can't really say that, because we have seen in Scripture that Yeshua was called in front of the law people because he was doing stuff on a Sabbath. And so, he was healing birds on a Sabbath, or he was healing people on a Sabbath, or he was doing something, and it was according to the Jewish law at that time, or whatever the other law that was there, that was a big clash. And so, some people will say, well, he won't do it on the Sabbath. There's too many rules. You can't go but so far. You can't do this. You can't do that. But, guys, I would not discount whether it could or could not happen on a Sabbath, because, we have a radical Jesus. That's all I can say. And, the enemy likes to keep rules and laws and different things, but, when it comes to our God and his Son, I'm just going to say I wouldn't discount it. And that would be my own opinion. And I could be way off base and terribly wrong, but I still would not discount it. I wouldn't. All right, so let me come on back and we're going to continue to go through. So, let's see. The announcement that is made after reading the Sefer Torah before returning it to the Aaron Kadesh. The name of the new month, the day of the week on which it falls, is given during prayer by announcement of the exact date and time of the new moon, referred to as the Molad, or the birth. Now, guys, this is really interesting, and I need for you to remember this, because the date and time of the new moon being sighted, when it is first sighted, is called the Molad. And it is that word in Hebrew means birth. Okay? So the calculations for the Molad for the Rosh Chodesh Shabbat, which occurs on January 23rd or 21st, 2023. So here is the new moon right here in January. Okay? Here is the 90 days. Okay, and then here is the Rosh Chodesh. So it starts in the evening here and it ends by sunset here. Okay, so this is where we start going. So then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or unless it starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as the new month. So that would line up, but that's if it is seen here. And I'm going to show you some information from 2017 when we were following this along, where it wasn't seen for several days. And that kind of threw some things off. But God works in mysterious ways, and there's reasons for things that he does. And I just want to bring that to your attention. So now, Molad, or birth, that's very important because it's going to tie into some things that the Lord has told me before. So now the next thing, Shabbat. I said, all right, well, what does this month represent? This Shabbat, this January month of Shabbat. What is it? What does it mean? Why is it named Shabbat? What's going on with that? And so I want to show you the information Do you want to open this link? Yes, I do. I want to show you the information because, let's see, here we go. Where is it? Here it is. What do we have up here? Okay, so this is Matot. All right, I want to go to Shabbat. Okay, there's a more common Hebrew word for tribe, Shevet or Shavat, and this is what it is in plural. Interestingly enough, both Matah and Shavat carry two meanings each. One is a stick, a staff, or a rod, and the other is tribe. So what I'm trying to show you here is that the word actually means rod or stick, or staff. I thought that was really interesting because when God told me, I can't even tell you how many years ago it is, and I know the videos are on my channel, and it says something about you are a rod. Because the Lord told me one night while I was in study, and I was trying to finish up some studies, and it was late at night, and I was getting ready to go to bed, and he says, you are a rod. And I'm like, well, what's a rod? I mean, I had no idea what it was. The only thing I could come up with was, there's a rod in a car, right? That you throw a rod. So I didn't know what it was. And then we went on some studies, and then we understood that a rod could also be an offshoot of a branch, that would come up, that could be, broken off so that you can make your plants bigger, but this is a rod, and so this is a different rod. This is a stick. This is a rod, and we also understood about the offshoot of Jesse and the rod and the stump of Jesse, and so there were lots of different things that this could be connected to, but it is connected to the month of January. Okay. So we know Moses had a staff. We know that Aaron's rod budded. We know about that. That's one of the miracle things we had. Moses' stick turn into snakes and eat other snakes, and and then he held up a particular one in the desert. So there's a lot of different things to go with that rod. But I just wanted to let you know. There are people that the Lord is calling a rod. So even the scripture about where the woman gives birth to the man child and he is giving a rod to rule, it's interesting as to what it is. What does it mean exactly? I am not 100% sure. But I do know I'm one of them, and whatever that means, that's what it means. But I do want to go back and just show you that was pretty interesting. That's exactly what this thing meant. So I just wanted to continue forward. So I was led to research that term Molad, right, meaning birth, which I found to be interesting to begin with, because we've been talking about a rebirth. We've been talking about a birth coming. We know that we have to be come forth, become, to be. We know that represents a birth. And so, especially in view of the number 8 too, that I've actually been shown in the past, which I know is rebirth or new beginnings. So Wikipedia states that the Molad is the Hebrew word for birth, but it also means this, okay? Here's where it gets interesting. Other than the usage connected with the lunar cycle, Molad is also the word used in Hebrew. It's a Hebrew term for Christmas, and literally means the holiday of birth, and or the holiday of the nativity. The holiday of birth or the holiday of nativity. So now, well, what day is that? What day is that? That's every new moon. Every new moon is a molad. It's a birth of the new moon. And so what does that signify? It signifies the holiday of the birth. Not just for the moon, okay? It signifies the holiday of the birth and the holiday of the nativity. Okay, that's very important because the Lord has been pointing us to new moons quite a bit. So we knew that we had gone in and found out some information regarding Monday and this and that and whatever. And we'll go over that today. But what are the odds? I mean, seriously, guys. So again, we're being pointed back to Christmas. We're being pointed back to birth. We're being pointed back to New Year's. We're being pointed back to all of these different things that the Lord has been giving us songs and different things about all this time. I was just in awe as soon as I saw the word Molad, and I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, I got to get this out because this is just phenomenal. All right, so let me turn it around because I do want to remind you all about some things that he's given us in the past. So what's really interesting here is the songs that the Lord gave us in the past about going to the island or the place of rest involve Christmas songs and New Year's songs. And if Molad is connected to the term of Christmas and birth, then I understand the Christmas connection. That is what I'm trying to say here. These two Christmas songs I've got links for you for. I cannot play them because it will be a copyright issue, but I will provide the links for you. I have played them in the past and gotten copyright strikes. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to hinder this video. I want it to go out, but I will provide those for you so that you can hear the things that we were hearing that the Lord was giving us at that time. All right. So chadbad.org describes the Molad is the time of the moon's birth. There is a point in the moon's orbit in which it is positioned directly between the earth and the sun, making it invisible to anyone standing on the earth's surface. So the Molad occurs when the moon has moved far enough from this position that a thin crescent of its illuminated surface becomes visible, marking the start of a new Jewish month. Okay, so the book of Exodus established the new moon of Nisan, which is the first month of Aviv, as the beginning of the Hebrew calendar. So the new moon was identified for the beginning of the new calendar. And the Lord spoke unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall mark for you the beginning of the months, and it shall be the first of the months of the year for you. And that's in Exodus 12. So the new moon not only marks the first of the month, but it also marks the first of the Hebrew calendar year. So now I'm beginning to understand also too, along with the New Year of Trees for Shabbat, the New Year's link. Okay? So I do have the Auld Lang Syne song that he gave us. It was the Scottish version that was on Sex and the City. They played it for that particular movie. And I put here to start at 1 minute 30 seconds. And then also the New Year for Trees, which is on the 15th of Shabbat. So another date for us to keep in mind. As long as we know when the 15th is, that's another date that we want to keep in mind. And then also in the book of Numbers, God speaks of the celebration of the new moon to Moses. And he says, and on your joyous occasion, your fixed festivals and new moon days, your fixed festivals and new moon days, you shall sound the trumpet over your burnt offerings and your sacrifices of well-being That's in Numbers 10:10. And in Psalm 81:4, both new and full moon are mentioned as the time of recognition by the Hebrews. Blow your horn on the new moon and on the full moon for our feast days. So now I understand the connection to Neil Armstrong and Louis Armstrong. So now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, you know that, the Lord will just give me information and I'm trying to figure out what he's trying to show me. Years ago, he gave me information about Neil Armstrong, and then it changed to Louis Armstrong. And then I understood that he will call all the people. So he will call all the people. So we know that Louis Armstrong is a trumpet player or a horn player. We also know that Neil Armstrong was supposed to be the first one on the moon. So we have the moon connection. We have blowing the shofar or the trumpet connection for the new moon. But yet there was another one that came out where someone sent me some information about Louis Armstrong, and that he was raised in a Jewish household. He wore the Star of David around his neck. He honored their feast days and handled all of that stuff. But the information was being sent to me was that it was his birthday. It was his birthday. And I shared that information. But I'm telling you, the moon, Louis, the trumpet, the birthday, the Molad, it's all connecting. It's all coming together and connecting because the Lord has been trying to show us, hey, take a look at this day. Hey, take a look at this day. Hey, take a look at this day. And I just didn't get it. I didn't have all the information put together in a way that I could understand it. But I'm understanding it now. And this is the reason why I'm bringing out this video. Let's turn this around. So I did identify all of the videos that you guys needed to see. This is the one about the birthday. This is the one about Louis and Neil Armstrong. He also gave me the song When the Saints Go Marching In by Louis Armstrong. So I was told Louis, that particular trumpet, he would call all the people. So the trumpet will alert the people to come and the saints will go marching in, which I thought was really interesting. And then we had an update on the new moon video. Now this is what I want to show you here, because this is pretty important, because this is the one that is talking about that the new moon was not sighted until 2 days later. Let me see if I can. Yes, I want to open that video. Let me see if I can get into this and show you. Let me see where I needed to start on it. Did it say? It doesn't say. Sorry, guys. Makes me go through these things all the time now. I can't just.
We are really focused in on this time period.
So let me see. Here's the guy.
This would be sunset on the 24th would actually be the 25th in Israel. And so let's listen to what this guy has to say in regards to Israel's sighting of the new moon on the 25th.
Okay, guys, this is Moshe coming from Israel. I got distracted with everything going on yesterday. My wife did go out and look for the moon. She's the moon hunter here, and she didn't see it. And there were several other people in Israel that looked for the moon and did not see it with the naked eye. So there was no moon sighting last night, which is Gregorian calendar, July 24th, but on the Hebrew calendar would have been July 25th.
Okay, so as we're saying, July 24th, the sunset actually starts the 25th, so that's what he's saying. On this particular Gregorian calendar, it would have been the 24th, but for Israel's calendar, it would have been the 25th. And so what he's saying is that there was no new moon sighted. And so what happens now is because it was not seen in Israel, that means by default, sunset tomorrow, meaning Tuesday's sunset, okay? Right here, Tuesday's sunset into Wednesday, which would be the 26th for Israel, okay, will mark the beginning of the new month of Av.
So this is what I was talking about in regards to not being able to know exactly when the new month starts and what your dates are going to be, because like, for example, the new year for the trees was on the 15th of Shavat. Well, what if we don't see the new moon? What if it's not seen and we don't actually have a start of a month until a later time? Well, then that may change that particular date as to where and what day it lands on. And so when people say you really don't know the date, you can't possibly, specify a date, it's absolutely true. You really can't. The Lord can give you guide. He can give you hints. He can give you nuggets. He can point you into a particular time period. And it may line up with all the information that you have, but it could mean something different too. And so I know a lot of people have come out and said, no, this is going to happen here, it's going to happen here, we're looking for this, we're looking for that. And we are, because it is lining up to everything that he is saying. And if we don't bring up the information that he is providing and show the support of all the things that he has said to us in the past, then we're not doing what we're supposed to be doing as watchers and providing that information out. So I want you to pray on this. I want you to go to the Lord about it. There's a lot of information here, and I'm not done. There's still more. So let me go ahead and turn this around and we'll continue. So all of these links you can take to and just click on to go through and watch those videos, because a lot of it has been provided in the past. And again, you'll get some good foundational knowledge as to what the Lord was saying to us. And a lot of them will consist of messages that he was given at that time as well. So Yom Kippur Katan. Okay, well, what is this? This is the confessional ritual for the day preceding Rosh Chodesh. The day preceding Rosh Chodesh. And it's translated from Hebrew as the Minor Day of Atonement. Now, when I saw that, I felt like, what? A Minor Day of Atonement? I had never heard this before. We've been talking about at-one-ment. We've been talking about becoming one with one. We've been talking about unity. And this is a Minor Day of Atonement. Another thing to take a look at. I mean, there's just nuggets everywhere. There really is. It's an observance consisting of fasting, repentance, supplication, but it's much less rigorous than the one of Yom Kippur proper. So following the custom of the very pious, one must repent of his ways and make restitution both in money and in personal acts, in order that he may enter the new month as pure as a newborn infant. Let me say that again. So that he may enter the new month as pure as a newborn infant. When Rosh Chodesh occurs on Shabbat or Saturday, Yom Kippur Katan is observed on the preceding Thursday. So the Thursday before the new moon is a fast day, a minor day of atonement. Therefore, the idea of fasting would have been obvious. Okay, so the custom has its roots in scriptures in Numbers 28:15. When a sin offering is sacrificed on Rosh Chodesh, indicating judgment and atonement is being provided by God on that day. Therefore, the idea of fasting would seem obvious. However, fasting is prohibited on Rosh Chodesh, so the fast is observed on the day prior to Rosh Chodesh. So again, I'm just reminding you, atonement means at-one-ment, it means unity. 8 also is new beginnings and rebirth. So another calendar here just for us to take a look. If this is our Molad, and if this falls on the Sabbath or Sunday, which it falls on a Sabbath, we have to fast right here. Okay, well, you don't have to, but I'm going to. And again, this is our 90 days right here, our 90 days. So this now brings along the Monday song that was given to us years ago in my question to the Lord as to when we were going home. This is a very interesting chain of events as to what happened. Let me see if I can find, it's in this video. Let me see, update on the new moon, delay of the moon sighting. Okay, we did that. Oh, this particular video right here, Judgment, Shofar, and 3 days Mayday, start at the 10-minute. This is, okay, we have to go into this, but I'm going to do the Monday first. I think it's in this one, and let me see where it would be. I don't know why it's making me sit through some of this.
In the Song of Solomon, and I believe
let me see.
He said to me, bring forward. And I said, Father, again, I'm not completely sure what you're trying to tell me.
Let's see. It's from the saints. Okay, here we go. Let's see.
Monday for some time, as a matter of fact, and you guys know on the threshold of some big things happening, and I want to make sure everyone is all on the same page. Now, the Lord has been continuing to give some information, but this has been in regards to the word Monday. And you guys know that that the Lord has given me the word Monday for some time. As a matter of fact, He even gave me this song.
Monday, so good to me.
So I want to tell you that when I was walking up on Friday to go into my job several years ago, I had asked the Lord, Lord, is this going to be my last Friday? And the reason why I was asking was some of the information that was provided in this particular video right here. And that was the song that He put into my head, was that particular song. He gave me this, I could hear the song in my head. And so I had to go in and look up the lyrics, and but you guys can find that video, and if not, I'll try and have the video lyrics, the video link here so that you can listen to it. But it talks about someone not being here by the end of Monday. But now, when we went in to do some research on Monday, we found out that Monday really means Moon Day. That's what it means. It says it is the day of the moon. So, I mean, again, we're being pointed back to the moon, the new moon. So, He gives me the song Monday, but Monday it really means day of the moon. And so now you're like, well, okay, we're being pointed back to the moon. This is still information that, when is this my last Friday, or what have you, are we getting ready to go home? And He gives me Monday. And so is it Monday Gregorian? No, I don't think it is. I think it's Moon Day. and pointing us back to the Molad and the new moon and all of these different warnings that he's been trying to show us in regards to that. So now remember that when we read some of that scripture, it's talking about that the shofar needs to blow for the new moons, right? It also said the fixed feast days, and the full moons, but he's talking specifically about the new moons, and so and that the shofar needs to blow. So I wanna talk to you about, because this is going to link back into that 2017 where the things kind of the days, they couldn't sight that new moon or whatever. I need for you to listen to something in this particular video, because I had forgotten about this, but I need for you to hear it. Why, yes, I do want to see that video. Let me see if I have. Oh, start at the 10-minute mark, it says. Start at the 10-minute mark. Let me find it.
Back, but today being Friday, I needed to.
Okay, here we go.
And worship time this morning and prayer with the Lord, and I'm seeking Him on some things. I'm seeking Him on the 3 days and just exactly what that means and what's going on. And He gave me a message, but it's not tied directly into this 3-day thing. It's just basically still saying, guys, stuff is coming, and He's getting ready to correct the problems that are here on this earth. I mean, that things are going to be set back straight the way that they need to be. And I'll try and share that message with you all. Once I'm released to share it, I'll share it. But while I was walking into work, just talking in my mind to the Lord, I almost get up to the door, and I said, Lord, just let me know if this is going to be like my last Friday here, because I'm just like 3 days, just let me know if this is going to be my last Friday here. And immediately I heard a song, and it was just 2 words, but I heard the tune in my head, and it was this: Monday, Monday, da 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 da. You guys know that song? I recognized the song, but I didn't know what the words were to the song, and so I thought, oh my goodness. So as soon as I got up into my office, I put my earbuds on and I looked at that song, and it's a song by the Mamas and the Papas, and it was put out in 1966. Well, I was born in 1966, so I would be familiar with the song, but not really as familiar as what a lot of people would be, because I just, I didn't know what the words are. Guys, it's talking about people leaving. It's talking about someone not being there. I'm going to see if I have learned how to merge a video with this video, so that I can share that particular video with you. But if I can't, I'm going to put it underneath so that you guys can go ahead and link onto that. So when I heard that song, I said, you have got to be kidding me. Guys, this is 3 days, and he's telling me. When my question to him was, Father, you just let me know if this is going to be my last Friday here. And he didn't say, daughter, this is going to be your last Friday here. He gave me the song and the tune in my head, and I knew to go look it up, and sure enough, it's talking about someone not being there anymore, and people crying. So I want you to listen to that song, and I'll provide the link. Okay, so now, all of that on the heels of what he shared with me earlier this week. Now, for you all on YouTube, you don't know this information yet. And believe me, I tried to get a video put together Wednesday night or Wednesday or Thursday. No, Wednesday. It had to be Wednesday night. And I was fought so badly with the text to get this information out to you. I couldn't even tell you how many videos I had to erase and delete and omit and what have you. I mean, it was like the enemy was taking the words out of my mind. I was stuttering so bad. I could not concentrate. I was trying to get some information out to you. Now, Facebook folks know this information because I went ahead and submitted this in writing to Facebook. Let's see, the 25th, which was it would have had to been Wednesday morning, because of what I heard Tuesday night and what the Lord told me Wednesday morning. And so both of that information went out on Facebook Wednesday. And so Wednesday night I was trying to come forth and put a video together so that I could share that information with you. And I was attacked horribly. Interruptions, it was constant. And so Thursday I wasn't able to get back, but today being Friday, I needed to incorporate that other information. Okay, so that other information, now on the heels of this information. On Tuesday, which was the 25th of April, I was sitting in my living room, and my husband was in the room with me. He was looking at the computer. He was just kind of talking to me a little bit, looking at things and, going through some documents and houses and different things that we have going on. I was sitting in the recliner. We were waiting on someone to come to the house. We had some documents that we needed to sign in regards to the house and what was going on. And it was getting later in the evening, and I was just sitting there. The television was on, but I wasn't paying attention to the television. I was half listening to my husband, and I was just sitting there in my own mind, just thinking and just like, okay, we're waiting on this person to come. I was extremely tired. We were up late the night before, and all of a sudden, in my right ear, off to my right side, guys, I heard the sound of a shofar. I heard the sound of a shofar. And so when I heard that, my mind immediately went to, Lord, is that what I think it is? Is that the sound of a shofar? Because it was a little bit different than what I had heard other people attached to their videos, the sound of the big, shofar sound and what have you. It was a little bit different. What I heard, and I wrote it down, what I heard was more of an even tone sound. And it was a single blast, not like a toot, 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 nothing like that. And it was, I guess, short to medium in length. I mean, it wasn't like someone was holding their breath as long as they could blow in this thing. But I heard it, and it was just an even tone. And when I say short, I don't mean like toot. It was a blast. It was a long sound. And so when I heard it, I immediately asked the Lord about it. I said, Father, is that what I think it is? Is that the shofar? And I almost turned to ask my husband, babe, did you hear that? But he was kind of half talking to me in the computer, what have you. And for something just said, no, just leave it alone. So I didn't ask. I didn't say anything else, and I didn't say anything to anybody. And then the next day, Wednesday morning, I go to work, and I was just, I was chit-chatting with a friend of mine on the phone. And she said, I heard the shofars blowing last night. I said, well, so did I, And I said, this is confirmation. This is, because I hadn't told anybody anything. And so here's this sweet sister in Christ. She's telling me what she experienced, and I'm confirming it for her. She's confirming it for me. But here's the best part. She doesn't even live in the same country I do. Guys, it was heard all over. It was heard all over. And so when I went to go ahead and share this on Facebook then, Wednesday, immediately I had some of my friends on there saying, we heard it too. We were just talking about it. And I said, oh my goodness, that's, how fantastic is that? Now guys, I'm going to pause this video for just a second, because I want to be able to find that other video so that I can let you listen to it. Hang on just a second. Okay, I'm back. Hang on just a second. Now listen to this. This is the video that I found that is close, that it's as closest that I could find that sounded like what I heard Tuesday night. Listen. Let me cut it up a little bit. going to replay that again. Hang on. See how it's an even tone? A lot lower than what I've heard on some other videos. I'll share that video with you. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share both my write-ups that has the videos and all of the links and everything else on the bottom of this video in a comment. So look for my comments. If there's more than one, I'll identify it at the top that this is one of two or one of four or whatever, because I want you all to have this in written format. And also some of the articles and different things that I looked up or videos found that I wanted to share with some of this stuff, I have those links in here too. So guys, you know, how interesting is that? Did you notice the date that I said in there? It was Tuesday night that I had heard that, and this is done in April of 2017. That was the night that the new moon actually was done, was that particular date, because remember it was going to show up the next day, and we were talking about that it had to be a particular day. So that particular date that I said in here, when I looked up that particular date, that is the day after or 2 days after of when the new moon was supposed to be identified. It was the exact date that the new moon was actually sighted that we heard that shofar. So guys, you know, the Lord has been so gracious and kind to give us so much information, so much confirmation, so much stuff to try and help us understand everything. Remember that sound. Remember that sound, because you're going to hear it. It's going to come to be, because the horn calls all the people, and that's when the saints go marching in. The new moon is very important. It is the birth, okay? It is the birth. So we need to be, that is the warning. How much warning will he give us? I don't know. Will it be any at all? How about all of the other new moons coming into it already being a warning for another new moon? It could be. So guys, I'm just trying to tell you these things. Be careful trying to pinpoint people down and then saying, you know, negative things. Well, it didn't happen exactly as she said or whatever. Nobody has all the answers, but we do have all the information that God has given us. And then we're trying to share that. So there's going to be some times that are going to be high alerts. And I want you to kind of keep that in mind. But we're not done. There's more. All right, so here we go. So let me pull up this document again. Okay, so all of these videos here, and I'll try to make sure the Monday video's there, but you guys can look it up if it's not. It is the Mamas and the Papas. It is Monday. That's the name of the song, and you can take a look at it. So we did talk about that Monday means the day of the moon. So it doesn't necessarily mean Monday for Gregorian calendar. It means the day of the moon. So again, we're being pointed back to the moon. So now I just want to let you know that something now was urging me to look up the moon day for December. And I just put a note on this document that I was going to do it tomorrow. So the next day, so all that information was given to me in one day. I was overloaded with trying to get that all down. So the very next day on the 30th, which was yesterday, guys, you need to see what dream I had. And I don't know why my thing is rolling it up so hard. I'm just going to do it a little bit at a time. So I had a dream about Trump last night, or night before last. But in my dream, he was representing the Lord. He was representing the Lord. I just need to let you know that because he's been in my dreams before, and he has been representing the Lord in my dreams. The trumpet being the trumpet,
he comes and has a voice like a trumpet. So he is representing the Lord in this dream. So I had a dream early that morning, and I had to ask the Lord about it because it was rather long, and I could only recall bits and pieces of the earlier part, but the ending part I recall very clearly. It involved Trump, and toward the end I saw Trump getting angry and yelling at some people. So I was in a room with him and some others, and I just basically turned around to open the door to walk through it, and then I just shut the door behind me. So I entered into a room that appeared to be a kitchen of sorts, and there was a small woman to my left. She was working on something on the counter. Then I heard Trump talking and coming toward me or coming up behind me. I didn't turn around because I wasn't even aware he was speaking to me. Until he got up to me and he touched my back to turn around. And he was saying something like, "Are you spoiled?" Which I thought, well, that doesn't seem right. But when he touched my back, I did turn around to look at him. And then I looked at the girl at the counter, and I asked her to give us a few moments alone. So she shook her head yes, but she looked either very nervous or scared. I then returned my gaze to Trump, and he was in like a navy blue suit and tie. And I reached up to him to give him a tight hug, and I felt his cheek next to mine, and I noticed how good he smelled, and I told him so. And this is what he said to me. He said, "I expected that." Now, remember that Jewish boy Natan's video? Remember when he said that we have to smell right in order to enter in. We have to smell right. And then I had some studies with in the past where we talked about smelling right. Demons can smell you as well, and if you don't smell right to a demon, then they beat you up and stuff like that. It's just so smell is a very important thing, and so I found that to be interesting in this particular dream. But I already knew that I smelled good. I didn't have any issue with that. I just seemed to know that. But as we were hugging, it was like we either started spinning around or my mind was just spinning around, and it was spinning around like a whirlwind. It was just like I was, just, I don't know, spinning. It was like, it wasn't wind or anything. It was just like, I was just, I don't know. It was very strange experience. But the feeling that I had was that we would continue to be turning, and then would we go up? I didn't know. But the feeling that I had was like total bliss in that spin, total satisfaction, and it was just like I wanted to melt. It was like, So I woke just before the alarm, and that was really just the end of the dream. But I had to ask the Lord about it because I'm like, Lord, was that you represented in my dream? And if so, why were you so angry? That's not the spirit that I see with him when I am around him. And so I said, please tell me, Lord, what was the meaning of this dream? Was it the enemy? I needed to know because the anger is what really got me in that. I needed to understand, was this just something that I needed to be aware of, or so immediately I was given the understanding. It was not, it wasn't words, it wasn't anything. It was just an understanding. It was all of a sudden I understood that this was the male and the female merging. This was the opposites, the plus and the minus, to merge into the center or enter from the outer. It was so, that particular merge, it was the start of it. It was, I don't know if it was a foreshadowing of it, a dry run of it. Did I interrupt it? I'm not sure, but I do know that that was the understanding that I received. So I was really glad to understand that because then I was just then, after that, recalling the feeling that I was having during that particular dream. And the scripture came to mind from the Song of Solomon's. That's when the king is holding his beloved in the arms under the apple tree. I want you to take a look at Song of Solomon 2, because that will describe what I was feeling during that particular dream. So I went ahead and I looked up the Molad birthday for December and found that it is in the month of Tevet, as far as they know, for December the 23rd. So what does Tevet stand for, I wondered. Now, I failed to look that up, so I did. I also wanted to know how far ahead was Israel, to our time zone. And it appears that it is 8 hours ahead of my time zone. So I wanted to talk to you about this, because what kept popping into my mind was that 3 a.m. video that I had. It was given to me years ago, and I wondered about, okay, so if the new moon is coming along this time here. Now, I want you to notice this date right here, because I'm finding this very interesting. December the 23rd, but look at the time. 11:12. I have been seeing 11:11 for years now. Everywhere. All the time. 11:11. So if the new moon starts at 11:12, which is what they're talking about in the morning, I found that to be pretty interesting. So what I did was, this says 9 whatever a.m. So I counted back 8 hours to because they're ahead of me. So I counted back 8 hours to my time zone, and it would have made it 4 a.m. But guys, let me tell you something. The video that I had was 3 a.m. that there was going to be a birth, a death or a birth, and I'll let us take a listen to a little bit of it. But guys, we're in a time change right now. If the time didn't change, it would have been 3 a.m. It's 4 a.m. now because spring forward for us 1 hour. But if it hadn't done the time savings time or whatever, it would have been 3 a.m. So, okay, that flipped me out too, because then I was like, Lord, what are you trying to say? Let's go back to that video. I want you all to listen to it. It's not very long. I think I need to, let me see. I had where I needed to start in that video somewhere up in here. Maybe I didn't. Let me just go back to it right quick. Did I miss it? Here it is, yeah. Where my box is, yes, I do want to see the video. So now this video is not very
nice to unwind after a long week of telling people how Liberty Mutual customized.
This video is not very long, but I just wanted to let you all hear what this is about.
Hi guys, thanks for coming back to another video. I had a dream last night that I would like to speak with you all about. I believe it is significant to the timing that we are currently in right now. There are several watchmen out there that have been really putting together some great information that the Lord has been giving them and leading them in regards to the timing and where we are right now. I pray that you all are aware of the timing that we are in, and that we are in right now a very, very high watch period. I went to bed last night and I was just praying to the Lord, and I was asking I was asking some questions, as some friends of mine have asked me to pray over some things, and I was also in prayer with the Lord personally for myself and my family in regards to repenting and just asking for forgiveness and talking with the Lord in regards to what all has been occurring in my life. And I know that several times during the night when I awoke, I also continued to pray, Lord, just, forgive me about this or that. I always ask him to bring something to my memory to help cleanse my heart so that I can address anything that I may have done unintentionally throughout the day. So the dream that I had last night started out, and it came in like 2 or 3 different phases, as I believe I rolled over in the middle of the night and awoke, but as soon as I went back to sleep, the dream seemed to continue. So the first part of the dream was like what this image is showing. I was involved in some type of a communication meeting or just conversation in regards to something getting ready to happen. I don't know who it was that I was listening to. I don't recall faces. I don't recall exact conversations, but I do know that I was not actively participating in the conversation. I was more of a listener, understanding what was being told to me, and I was just trying to understand what all was going on. Now, even though I cannot recall certain specific words, I can tell you what I understood the meeting in this conversation to be about. It was about a person that was going to a certain area. So let me say that again. It was about a person that was going to a certain area. So then I rolled over in the middle of the night and kind of went back to sleep. And the next thing that came to my mind was that this person that was going to a certain area was either going to die, it was either going because this person was going to, that a death was going to occur, or that it was a birthday celebration. Now, I know that that's 2 opposite ends of the spectrum for most people's minds, but I think for those that are walking very, very closely with the Lord, they will understand that the death and the birthday celebration is pretty much it's almost the same thing. It's almost the same thing. And so when I awoke and started, conveying this information, the death and the birthday celebration it was just as strong in my spirit as each other. It was not one was stronger than the other or anything like that. No, it was either dealing with a death or some type of birthday celebration. And so this person was going to a place because of a death or a birthday celebration. And so now I understood also too at that point that it was going to occur at this time.
Okay, so you guys can go back and finish watching the rest of that video, but notice that it was someone having to go to a certain place, and that it was either a death or a birth, which we know really signifies the same thing, and it was happening at 3 a.m. So guys, again, I feel like this is another confirmation in regards to timing as to when things are going to happen, how they're going to come to be, what all is going to be going on with it. There's a lot more information with that message for you all to listen to. But guys, I'm telling you, the Lord is just continuing to provide even more support and information in regards to that 90 days. I also want to remind you about another video that the Lord gave me the title to, as a matter of fact, and it says, "It is not an ending, but a beginning. It is not an ending, but a beginning. So many different videos. I'm telling you, if you go and just take a look at some of those, I think you're going to be as astonished as I am, really, about all the information that he is providing. But I do want to finish this video up, so let me go ahead and finish the document that I have. So I went to look up Tevet, right? I needed to know what that meant. Tevet is the 10th month on the Jewish calendar, counting from Nisan, and its name, which is mentioned in the book of Esther, shared a root with the Hebrew word tov, meaning good. So this month, let me just roll this up just a little bit. This month begins with the last days of Hanukkah. By internalizing the message of the ever-increasing lights of the menorah, reminding us of the power good over evil, we are able to reveal that good that is hidden in our lives and in the world around us. So now, interesting that we were using that menorah to identify the lights that we were talking about in the video prior to the 90 days. It is very interesting to remind us of the power of good over evil. So we were talking about power, we were talking about lights, we were talking about things maturing at the same time. So I found that to be interesting. We are able to reveal the good that is hidden in our lives. The 10th of Tevet is a fast day commemorating the start of the siege of Jerusalem in the year 3336. Which led to the destruction of the first holy temple. On the fast day, the divine attribute of mercy is able to be drawn down into the world. Now, guys, I need to just say, we just read a message talking about mercy, and I put it in that video where it has to be shared. Mercy has to be shared with one another, and when someone receives mercy, they never forget it, and it grows within them. We just talked about that, and so for that particular message, and now for me to be led to go through Tevet and find out what that was about, and it's talking about mercy. Okay, I don't get me started. Let me continue because I'll keep y'all talking all day. Okay. On a fast day, the divine attribute of mercy is able to be drawn down into this world. By fasting over the destruction of the temple, one sweetens God's anger with Israel, and which was the cause of the destruction. Okay. Sweetens God's anger. Remember when I hugged Trump in that dream, he had already been angry. He had been angry, and I walked away from the anger. I couldn't believe what I was reading here. Okay. Our sages explain that every generation for which the temple is not rebuilt is as though the temple was destroyed for that generation. As such, a fast day is not really a sad day, but an opportune day. It is a day when we are empowered to fix the cause of that first destruction, so that our long exile will end. So in Chad Bad's article, 11 Facts of the Month of Tevet Every Jew Should Know. Now, guys, I'm telling you, he led me to every single part of this. It lists all these 11 facts, but the one that caught my attention was about Esther being taken to the palace. In the book of Esther, we read that Esther was taken to the king's palace in the 10th month, which is the month of Tevet. Okay, so this is what month? This is December, okay? The Talmud explains that the month of Tevet was a particularly opportune time, since the cold causes the body to take pleasure from the body of another. Now, I just need to say, the dream I had with Trump, we were hugging, I was feeling bliss, I was feeling like I could melt, I was feeling satisfaction. The thing that came into my mind was the second Song of Solomon. You guys can go look it up. It's about his beloved. He's holding her under the apple tree. It also says, do not awaken love before it's time. All of this and that. And so for me to read this in Tevet about Tevet being, because it's where the body takes pleasure from the body. And then when I asked the Lord about that dream and about the meaning of that dream, and it was the merge of the male and the female to the center, so that I was overwhelmed. I could not believe it. I was like, Lord, this is just phenomenal what you're showing me here. I probably would not have understood it back then. It may have taken me up until this point in time to be able to understand what he's showing me and the experiences that he has given me, either in dreams or in daily life or what have you. So this is just so interesting. So anyway, it gave me a link to give me the inner meaning of this teaching. And of course, I had to click on that link because, what does this mean? So from that link, it says, to conclude with matters relevant to the present day, our sages describe Tevet as a month when the body derives pleasure from the body. It is well known that Esther refers to the Jewish people, and the Midrash states that the king that she went to is referring to the Holy One, blessed be he. So this is Esther, who was made queen, going to the king before she was made queen. This is what Tevet is standing for December. Can you believe it? I'm blown away. Okay, so this refers to the Holy One, blessed be he. On the basis, it is possible to interpret the word guf, literally meaning body, as the fundamental being or essence. Now, we just talked about essence and being and all of that. As in the expressions employed by our sages, the substance of the Torah, the matter itself, the substance, the essence, can be interpreted as meaning that God's divine essence drives satisfaction from the body. Our divine service concerning the body and involving the body, as well as be revealed to us, as well as in the ultimate future when the soul will derive its vitality from the body. Now, isn't that something? So it continued, in his interpretation of the verse, when you see the donkey of your enemy, the Baal Shem Tov reveals that the process of refinement of the body should involve satisfaction. So the Alter Rebbe delved deeply into the teaching of the Chassidus in order to invest vitality in all things. So even the brain in the body, Chadbad, which is characterized by coldness and lack of sensitivity, will be transformed to the extent that it becomes excited because of the comprehension of godliness. So I'm like, oh my goodness, what are the odds? I mean, are you kidding me? How is this possible? You just can't make this stuff up. So I wanted to see what the book of Esther said, and in chapter 2, verses 16, and I think it's through 20, I found this. So Esther was taken to King Ahasuerus to his royal house in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. So the 7th year in the 10th month, in the month of Tebet. And if we look at days of the week, in the 7th day, that is Shabbat. That is why I said what I said the way I said it earlier about the 7th day. And the king loved Esther more than all the women, and she won grace and favor before him more than all the maidens. And he placed the royal crown on her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. Okay, so that gives us some information right there. We're looking at the seventh day. Could it be the seventh week? Could it be, what could it be? Because now we're talking about a time period of 90 days, right? Or 100 days, or 95 days, because it was I think it was 5 days prior to mine that that person had that information. So we're looking at a narrow window of time. We know about the new moons. We know that those are flexible, movable. They're fluid. We don't know exactly when those are going to happen, but we know when to expect them, when to start looking for them. So now I was led to go into Shabbat, and it talks about certain things, and then I was led to go into Tibet, and it talks about some things, and it's bringing up Esther, and Esther going to the king's palace, and Esther being crowned queen. So is that the bride going? Is that the bride also going? Guys, there's a lot of questions at play right now, and this really does pull in a lot of different things, but there's something else I want to show you, because I'm not done yet. Hang on one second. Let me come to that. So she won grace and favor before him more than all the maidens, and placed a royal crown on her head, and made her queen instead of Vashti. And the king made a great banquet for all his princes and servants, even Esther's feast, and he granted a release to the provinces, and gave gifts according to the bounty of the king. And when the maidens were gathered a second time, all right. So, is there going to be 2 gatherings of people? Is there going to be 2? Will one be the bride? Will one also be the children and matrons? I submit that for your discernment. But for me to be led to look up to that, to understand that that's linked to Esther, that that's linked to her going to his royal palace. He goes to prepare a place for us so that we may be where he is also. His father has a house with many mansions, many rooms. And when the maidens were called a second time, well, that tells you that there's going to be a second call. I think we talked about in some of those videos in the past, especially the one about the phases of folks going home and being done. The Lord has told us in the past that things are going to be done in waves. Now, does that specifically mean the waves, the energy waves and the changes within us, or does that mean waves of people? It will be these and those and whatever. I don't know, but that's what he told us. And I believe there's going to be more than one catching away. That's just my honest opinion about it. But let me go back and finish up the rest of this study so that I can get off. And when the maidens were gathered a second time, we talked about in past videos about the catching away is done in waves. So now I did have some information about the high watch period, and I basically am saying, listen guys, I think the high watch period is from the Molad in December through that February date of 100 days from 10/24 for that girl. Because I just saw that date today. So, we're looking at a chunk of time. We're looking at a long period of time. But that's because we don't know what the plans are from the Lord. We don't know who he's going to call first. We don't know how it's all going to go. We don't know how long it will take. We don't know who all's going to be involved. We don't know we don't know a lot of different things. But I do know this: our God is full of mercy and grace, and He is preparing the children, and He is trying to prepare us right now as well. So please take this study, go back, take a look at it, read it over, watch the video. I hope you got all the way through it. I apologize for the time, but this was just too important not to bring forward. So I want to say God bless you all. Pray and ask for confirmation. Go and look and research anything you feel like the Lord is asking of you. Because He may be talking to you specifically. He may be talking and trying to prep you, or trying to get you to go and prep somebody else with you. So guys, stick with it. We're almost home. I know a lot of us are going through some really tough times right now. The Lord is fine-tuning a lot of us. So God bless you all. I love you all. I hope to see you all very, very soon. Happy holidays to all of you.